Hello, in this video we're going to look at the assignment in Unit 3, Activity 2. And your assignment is going to be to write your own news article. And so I've broken up the assignment into 5 steps. And so if you follow the steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you should finish the assignment and create your own news article. And so step 1 is going to ask you to choose one headline and one photo from the 3 options I've given you here. So you have number 1, divers thrilled at spectacular sight, and then this is the accompanying photo. Number 2, you have car race ends in a spectacular finish, and you have this as the accompanying photo. And then number 3, you have new local business is booming, and this is the accompanying photo. So hopefully one of those 3 photos and headlines grabs your attention. You don't have to write something on all 3. You're just choosing one headline and photo, and then that's going to be the focus of your news article. And so once you've chosen one of the headlines and photos, you go down to step 2. And so in step 2, you're going to fill out something called the 5 W's chart. And the 5 W's chart looks like this. And consider this your news article rough work. And so it's going to ask you to use the headline and photo you have chosen to help you answer the 5 W's questions below. You can make up whatever details you like as long as they relate to the headline and photo you have chosen. So you're going to create your own news article. Well, at least in this case, you're going to create the foundation, the information for your news article by answering these 5 questions. So what happened? So if you're using this photograph right here, what happened? Okay. Who was there? So who's there? Who are these divers? And looks like there's sharks there too. Okay. Where did it happen? So which ocean or which sea is this located in? When did it happen? So did this happen last week? Did this happen during the winter, the summer, the spring? When did this happen? Give a specific time. Okay. And then why did it happen? So whatever you've put down as what happened here, whatever you've created as your event based on this photo, why did it happen? So if you can take that photo or any of those 3 photos and the headline that accompanies it and answer these 5 questions, you've created the information you need to write your news article. Again, you're creating this. You don't. You're allowed to make this up. You're allowed to come up with your own ideas as long as they're related to the photo and to the article. Okay. You'll notice at the bottom it asks you a couple of other questions to consider. What information will go in your lead paragraph? So consider the 5 W's here. How do you think you can fit hopefully at least 4 of these 5 W's into your lead paragraph? What additional details can you include in your news article? So aside from answering the 5 W's, is there any other specific information that you can think of that you can make up again that you could include in your news article? What quotations can you include? So based on what happened, who would you want to include a quotation from? I would suggest for the first one, you would want to include a quotation from one of the divers. I would suggest in this one, you probably want to include a quotation from one of the drivers. And in this photo, if you're using this one, I would anticipate that you probably want to include a quotation from this man right here. And again, you're free to make his name up and provide, come up with what this store is and what this business is he's running, and you can include a quotation from him. And then lastly, is my information free of my personal opinion? Remember, it's important, if you remember the content, that your news article remain factual. So even though you're making up this information, the idea is that it should be non-biased, that it should just be factual style information. You're not including your own opinion. Okay? So if you can fill in this sheet right here and consider these questions at the bottom as well, you've created your own rough work that you can use to then write your news article. And that leads us to step number 3. So it says, use the information in your 5Ws chart to help you write the first draft of your news article. Your news article should meet the following requirements. It should be approximately 250 words. That's not too many. 250 words would cover, less than one page in Google Docs or in Microsoft Word. Include all of the required parts. Make sure you have a headline. Of course, you can just take the headline that I've given you, whichever one you've chosen. Make sure you have a byline, which will be your name as the author. Make sure you have a date line, so you can put the date as the date that you write the news article. Make sure you have a photo. Again, you can just take whichever one of these 3 photos you're using. And then have a caption. Make sure you give a caption below the photo describing who's in it and what's happening in the photo. Make sure you use the inverted pyramid news article structure. So make sure you start with a lead paragraph and the most important information, and then move down from the most to the second most to the third most important information. You want to take the approach that your reader might only read the first few sentences of your news article. So you want to hit them with the most important information first. Make sure that you do have a proper lead paragraph that includes at least 4 of the 5 Ws. Include at least 2 quotations, somewhere usually in the middle or near the end of your news article, and you can make up the first and last name of the people that you're quoting, and you can give them a job title, or you can explain who they are when you put in the quotes from them. And do not include any personal opinions, and do not write your own personal story. You don't want to use the word I or me or we unless it's in a quotation and someone other than yourself is talking about themselves. But you don't want to write a personal story about yourself. Okay? Remember, this is not a research assignment. I mentioned this up here in step 2 as well. Do not include internet research. You're not trying to find information on the internet about this person or about these or about this car race here. The idea is that you can make up your own information in the news article, including the quotations. It's just they should relate to whatever it is that you've chosen as your photo and your headline. This is important here. Feel free to email me your first draft and I will provide feedback. So once you've written your first draft, you can send it to me through email and I'll tell you what I think. Or you can share it with me through Google Docs if you want, and I'll tell you what I think. And then you can then proceed to step 4 and write your final draft, and you can take into account what I've said. You can check your spelling and grammar. You can go over this list again right here and make sure that you're including all of the requirements. And you can click on the rubric down here and make sure you're following the guidelines of how you'll be graded. And then once you're happy with your final draft, as always, submit it to the Dropbox at the top of the assignment right here. Okay? If you have any questions or if you have any trouble with your news article, please let me know.